I'm AC Brown, and you're listening to Is My Aura on Straight, a podcast designed to help you start living from your core instead of your conditioning. Each week, we'll discuss topics ranging from human design, astrology, metaphysics, spiritual self-development, and everything in between. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Is My Aura on Straight. I am your host, AC Brown. I am your spiritual doula, intuitive strategist, psychic channel, and human design expert, and I'm also an entrepreneur. And I want to thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Is My Aura on Straight. As you can tell by the title of the episode, we are talking about Jupiter and Capricorn for 2020. Yes, it starts on December 3rd in 2019, so you will begin to feel those energies, but we're really going to focus on 2020 because that transit lasts all the way until, I believe, December 19th, 2020. So it officially starts on December 3rd, 2019, but it remains in Capricorn until Saturday, December 19th, 2020. And Jupiter is one of the faster planets. It transits on a yearly basis. So it's one of the faster planets. And the reason why I want to talk about Jupiter so much, or why it's, if you listen to my other astrology kind of based podcast, I talk about how Jupiter is one of my favorite aspects of astrology to talk about. It's, of course, your rising sign. That's my first one. And then the moon is my second, and then your north node, and then Chiron, which is actually an asteroid. And then I'm going to be talking a little bit about your 12th house. I haven't talked about Chiron yet. And then Venus, and then Jupiter. But I wanted to talk about Jupiter because Jupiter is super important. Jupiter is about expansion. A lot of astrologers call Jupiter Santa Claus because Jupiter brings gifts when it comes into your, when it transits at different places or different signs. And right now it is in Sagittarius, which is a great sign to be in. Big things happening, starting new things, travel, all of that stuff. But the reason why Jupiter is really, really important for it being in Capricorn for the next year, it's going to really be about you taking action on your goals and your dreams. And I'll explain that a little bit. So Jupiter, like I said, is about expansion, personal growth. It's about good luck. It's about abundance, freedom, your higher self, the higher mind, big ideas, and it can be about excess. However, some of the challenges that Jupiter does happen, it's sort of like a give and take. It's like, don't indulge in excess. Try to remain modest. Be sensible, and of course be grateful. Now, the goal of Jupiter is really that a higher power is working out a plan for your highest good, and you will, grow into your highest potential. If you think about Jupiter in Jupiter in Sagittarius, where it is now, Jupiter in Sagittarius is really about making a way when there is no way. How I like to say, the last time Jupiter transited Sagittarius, for me, a lot of things happened that were kind of like, wow, that was making a way out of no way kind of thing. So that's how Jupiter does. But when it is in other signs, it works differently. So what we're going to talk about here is what it means with Jupiter in Capricorn when Jupiter enters Capricorn on December 3rd, and where in your chart you should look about where it's going to be, which is which house it's going to transit to. That's going to be the most important. Now, as you know, Capricorn, if you are a Capricorn listening to this, no shade to you or anything like that. But I just have to, keep it real about Capricorn is a very mature perspective kind of sign. And sometimes it can be annoying for us visionaries out there because Capricorn is, if you want to say, it's by the book. And the reason why I wanted to do a podcast on this is because the energy is going to be very by the book. So the Capricorn energy that is going to transpire when it transits into Capricorn, when Jupiter transits into Capricorn, is going to be about you having a mature perspective, about you keeping solid ground, about you definitely shooting for the stars, shooting for your dreams, but being a little cautious about the optimism that you have. Now, it's not about being afraid or being scary or not taking the leap, but it's going to be about you planning the actions that you're doing. Jupiter in Capricorn is probably one of those. So they like to say that Jupiter in Sagittarius, where we're at now, is more about letting you see all the possibilities. Like, okay, you can do this, you can do that, you should do this, you should do that, or hey, this might be a good thing for you to do, or look at all these possibilities, look at all of this freedom, look at all of these adventurous things that can be happening. Oh, you can go in that direction, you can go in this direction. It's very free, like a Sagittarius. One moment, they're, on this track. The next minute, they're like, what, I want to do something else. That's what this year's energy was about. It was about finding your way, about figuring out what's next or what you're interested in or how you're going to do things. It was very free, very, no strings attached. It was a situationship. That's how Jupiter and Sagittarius was. It was a situationship. It was, let's have all the fun, but let's not commit to anything. Let's, do things, but let's not commit to anything. That is not how Jupiter and Capricorn is going to treat you. So just keep that in mind. If Jupiter and Sagittarius is a situationship, Jupiter and Capricorn is a committed relationship. It is commitment. And that's a big difference. That's a big energy. But I don't want you to be afraid of that commitment, because what you do and what you set up for yourself in 2020 with Jupiter in Capricorn is going to take you so far for the next few years. So it's very important for everyone listening to this to figure it out, to get solid ground on something, to figure out what you're doing and start planning how you're doing it. So Jupiter in Capricorn says to you, okay, if I work towards this, I'm going to see the fruits of my labor. If I do this way, the right way, I'm going to see the benefits of it. Jupiter in Capricorn is not about you not being lucky or anything like that, or you being limited or defined by one thing. Jupiter is about you having a process to journey through your life, having a plan. It's about you having a vision for your future, but actually taking the steps for your future, actually doing the work. So if you want to have certain levels of success beyond 2020, Jupiter in Capricorn is going to require you to make sure that you are planting the seeds. So that's really what Jupiter is about. Yes, I use that funny analogy of if Jupiter and Sagittarius was a situationship, Jupiter and Capricorn is a committed relationship, but it's about committing to the process, committing to where you're going. Like I said, Jupiter and Sagittarius, it was about just free falling, just free, all doors open. You can go in any direction you want. You can say, you know what? Oh, I want to try this. I want to try that. You could do whatever, anything that you wanted to do this year and try it out and see if you liked it, see if you didn't like it. All of those things happened this year for a lot of people. For myself, it did. Oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. But Jupiter in Capricorn is about choosing a direction, committing to it, and allowing shift to happen on a progressive kind of movement. It is not you getting rich overnight. Jupiter is about, in Capricorn, is about you planting the seeds for getting rich in 3 years or getting rich in 5 years. It's not about things, being all willy-nilly how Jupiter and Sagittarius was very free, like I said, but Jupiter in Capricorn, because a lot of people are kind of afraid and saying, well, AC, I've had conversations with people. Does this mean that I'm not going to be able to do multiple things? Or does this mean that certain opportunities I'm not going to have because I'm focused? Yes and no. It means that you have to decide finally what you want to focus on. It doesn't mean that you can have to stop doing multiple things. It really just means that you have to decide what is real for you right now. What do you want to focus on? Because the great thing about Jupiter in Capricorn, especially for my people who are ambitious, whether you're ambitious in a corporate arena, in your career, ambitious in your personal goals, or ambitious with your, entrepreneur goals or whatever, Jupiter in Capricorn is saying to you that, yes, you have to decide. Yes, you have to choose. Yes, you have to stay focused, but you're going to be going somewhere that is going to be real. It's not going to be a fictitious place of dreaming and illusion, no rose-colored glasses. It's going to say to you, okay, whoever you are, this is what you want to do. Put it, plan into action. You can have it. I'm going to help you get there. And when we're done, you're going to see how much progress you've made. So Jupiter in Sagittarius, what we're in now, is because a lot of the energy is like, oh, I feel like I'm moving forward, but I'm not going anywhere. I feel like I'm going in circles, but I'm not making leeway, because Jupiter in Sagittarius is, like I said, about the doors being open, about you having a chance to go in any direction, you trying out different things, you going on a 3-mile hike and deciding you want to take a plane. It's all of those things. In one whole kind of energy. But Jupiter in Capricorn is going to say, okay, this was cute. Y'all had a good time. This was amazing. This was fun. You got to explore. You got to try out some new things. You got to test out some theories. You got to just figure out if this is what you really wanted to do. If this wasn't what you wanted to do, that's great. You know that you don't like doing this. You know that you don't like doing that. Wonderful. Now I need you to pick something, and I need you to pick it and have a plan to execute what's in your mind. I need you to execute all of the wonderful discoveries that you figured out in Jupiter and Sagittarius. I need you to commit to actually seeing these plans through. Now, for those of us who are afraid to pick one thing, my manifesting generators, this is really going to be a test for you this year. And that's why I always emphasize, keep it in your wheelhouse, because this is going to be the year, especially for my manifesting generators, that if you are not making progress or sticking to something, you are literally going to end up at the end of the year with no type of progress. You're going to have, or that has a saying go, I did all this work and have nothing to show for it. That is going to be you if you don't take heed to what I'm saying as far as making a plan, figuring out your niche, staying in your wheelhouse, picking 1 to 2 things that you will focus on for 2020. If you are going to have the same energy, like this energy, honestly, of Jupiter and Sagittarius this year, it was a manifesting generator's greatest dream, because the energy allowed for all of that multitasking, all of that freedom to just do whatever the hell you wanted to do. But now Jupiter and Capricorn is saying to you guys, and you ladies and gentlemen, that I need you to focus. I need you to, pin down what the goal is. What do you want? As in, the Notebook. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And that's for my manifesting generators. That's really important. For my reflectors actually have a really good thing, because reflectors are all about systems. Reflectors are all about planning. They're all about the step by step, that mirroring someone and following their every move, or looking at that. Reflectors, Jupiter and Capricorn is going to treat you very well, because naturally you were already about systems and progress and step by step and planning, because you have to, based off of your energy. So you're going to fare well for 2020 when it comes to making those strides in a step-by-step deliberate manner, because that's how you are already. For my manifestors, it's going to be really important, and I talked about this on this recent Sunday session with a couple of manifestors. You are going to have to decide what you stand for. What are you going to get behind strongly for a year? What is your message? What seeds are you planting? What are you starting that you plan on finishing? So you cannot be all over the place. You cannot be starting multiple things and letting them fall by the wayside, and then you disappearing or you ghosting on these ideas. You have to commit to something. You have to create a plan for something. If you have to spend a little bit of money and hire people to help you execute, that is fine. But you can no longer spend 2020 just starting things. Yes, naturally, that is a part of you, starting stuff, informing people. But it has to be done in a concise manner so you can get somewhere. Can I have this all over the place energy of going around in circles, starting things and not finishing them? So you have to find whatever your message is. You got to do some inner work around that. Then you have to make sure that you are 1000% behind your message, that no one can, I always tell this to, manifestors, no one can knock you off your pedestal, because you have so much faith and belief in what you're selling, what you're doing, how you're being, how you're acting, everything. So that's going to be important for you in 2020. Then we have my generators. I love you, generators. Generators, you're going to have to be okay with riding it out, with sticking it out. So it's the same thing for everyone, finding a focus, figuring out what you're going to, do. But generators, this energy is going to support you as well as reflectors, like I said, because this is about the step by step. It's about the long game. And as you know, as a generator, it's about the long game with you all the time. So you and your mastery are going to benefit. You're going to fare well in 2020 because you need to master something anyway. So whether you're just going to be mastering it for next year, that's fine, but it's going to set you up for the years to come. That's very important. Now, for my projectors, Jupiter and Capricorn is going to be a little bit challenging for you. And I say that as coming from a projector, not because it's going to be hard, but because it's going to require you to be okay with taking the lead to show up for what you are trying to do in your life, regardless if anybody sees it. And so what I mean by that is, as a projector, my favorite saying for projectors, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's all you need to worry about doing for 2020, getting ready. So whether it is, taking the course to get the promotion, whether it's finishing your degree to get, the promotion, whether it is, working on your website to fix, your systems behind the scenes, whether it is finally writing the book, finally hiring an editor, whatever it is for you to get ready for the big stage that you want to be on, you have to do that. So, and that will require you, yes, the focus, but you have to get clear about what you want. So for my projectors, it's really important for you to get clear about the byproduct of your work. What would you like to happen if you drank a gallon of water a day? Do you want clear skin? You know what I mean? What would happen if you wrote for an hour each day? Are you going to create a series of books? What would happen if you started being more active in work and started showing qualities of becoming the vice president? What does that take? all of those things are going to be good for projectors. So getting ready, so that whole stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So when that big invitation comes, you will be right there. And Jupiter in Capricorn is going to reward everyone for the work. Now, I didn't say hard work, y'all. So don't say, oh, I got to work hard next year. No, you don't. I believe in flow work. I believe in working in flow. So do you have to work in flow based off of who you are, your energy, all of that stuff? Yes. So Jupiter's going to reward you for the work, not necessarily, like I said, not hard work, but for work. So if you want to, deal with your shadow self, it's time for you to get in therapy. It's time for you to face those triggers, those inner child issues. It's time for you to deal with those things, because Jupiter is going to reward you in having confidence or having better self-worth or finally dealing with your parents or your family drama. That's what Jupiter in Capricorn does for you. Jupiter in Capricorn is going to say, hey girl, or hey guy, or hey boo, I see you out here in these streets committing to this thing. I love that. Let me go ahead and sprinkle some magic on this and reward you for all of the work that you've been doing. So that is what Jupiter in Capricorn is going to bring. So, I said what it's going to do for each aura type. Now you have to look at where is it going to be transiting in your chart, because that's going to be super important. Where does it transit in your chart? Because the transit is what house that it's going to transit in. So I'm going to go through the houses. So if you don't know where to get your chart from, your natal chart, you can go to, there's several different apps. A favorite app that can time passages. You can put in your information. You do need to know your birth time, your specific birth time. So you can go to Time Passages. It's an app. Love it. And then you can click on transits. And then you can enter in December 3rd, 2019. And you can see what house Jupiter is going to transit in your chart. Or you can look up free transit natal chart stuff on the internet. I'm not sure where that is on the internet, but you can look that up. But I like Time Passages for my transits. I'm sure there's other software that you can use, but that's what I use for my transits. And so you're going to want to find out for December 3rd, 2019, where Jupiter is in Capricorn is going to transit in your chart. So if it's transiting in your first house, that's going to be amazing because when it transfers in your first house, you're going to feel extremely optimistic. The first house transit is going to be about you having confidence, feeling good about yourself, making improvements in your life, wanting to do better, wanting to feel better. It's going to be about the self. It's really, that's what it's really going to be about. That's what Jupiter in the first house in Capricorn is going to be, because the first house is about I am. It's about awareness of self. And so it's about your appearance, your outward personality, how people are going to find you more friendly. People are going to definitely see you having more of a outspoken and blunt personality, but people are going to love that. People are going to want to be around you. You will be presented with a lot of new opportunities to expand your life, to make yourself better. I like to say that when Jupiter transits your first house, that you're going to be experiencing like the lifestyle that you want to have. You can attract that. You can have that if you choose to work for that. So it's almost going to be like Jupiter is going to, in your first house, when it transits, especially in Capricorn, it's always almost going to be like, it's going to feel kind of easy. If you're working towards it and it's about yourself, Jupiter's going to be like, okay, girl, okay, guy, go ahead, do you. I'm going to give you that. So, because it's going to be about I am. It's not going to be selfish, like, oh, I feel selfish or anything like that. It's just going to be about you having the appearance that you want, working towards that transformation transformation of yourself, of your outer appearance. Your personality is going to be more, people are going to love it more. They're going to, you're going to attract a lot of people wanting to be near you or around you when it's in your first house. So when it transits your second house is about about personal resources, about money, possessions, values, skills. So when it's in your second house, it's going to be about you increasing your self-worth, you increasing your self-esteem. It's going to be about you making adjustments to what you believe in, what you value. It's going to be about you finally getting on a budget and making your dreams happen, paying down debt. So if it's transiting your second house, you're going to be presented with opportunities to increase your finances, to finally deal with financial issues. Now, here's a disclaimer before I move on. So Jupiter, I'm saying it like that, Jupiter, because it is, don't have Jupiter come and snatch your edges, is what I'm saying. And what I mean by that is Jupiter will reward you for doing the work. If you are not doing the work, Jupiter is going to be like, oh, okay, they out there playing games. Let me go ahead and mess up something. Or not saying that it's going to be like an omen, but it's really about you making sure that you are taking action on doing the work, that you're not just chilling around, not doing stuff, because Jupiter in Capricorn is going to say to you, well, you didn't do nothing for this. Why should I give it to you? And just think about the Capricorns in your life and how strenuous they are about pride, value, about respect, about following protocol, following the steps. Just think of it like that. So Jupiter's going to say to you, hey, I see you working. I see you doing your thing. I see you working on yourself. I see you working on your finances. I see you working on your social circle, all of these things where, depending on where it transits in your chart, I'm going to reward you with some great opportunities, with some great people in your life, with some great financial opportunities, all of that stuff. But if you're not doing it, it's going to be like, well, I thought Jupiter was going to, but you didn't do anything. So that's just a little disclaimer. So now if it's in your third house, it's about your immediate environment, about your mental activity, your learning, communications, siblings. It's about you maybe taking a class. So for my people who have it transiting their third house, if you're thinking about going back to school or possibly getting a certification or learning something, it is the best time for you to do that. About learning, about knowledge, about expanding your knowledge, about maybe even learning to communicate better, learning to articulate your thoughts and your ideas. It's also around technology, about you being part of the community. It's about your immediate kind of thing. It's about you maybe, trying out some new gadgets. And it is about you spending more time with people and being more sociable and having a positive attitude. Now, if it's in your fourth house is about the home, the parents, your inner security. So the inner stuff, your inner world, about nurturing. So for people who Jupiter's transiting their fourth house, it's going to be about your home life, about making your home good, spending more time with your family, connecting to your roots. It's going to be about security, stability in your life, all of those things. Now, if it's transiting your fifth house is about fun, creativity, romance, about personal creativity, about you serving. And it's going to be about you spending time with new people, finding new hobbies, creating your best work life, creating your best personal life, about expressing yourself. It's about you being sociable. Of course, you could meet new romantic partners. Tons of things can happen with that. You can also get pregnant, or be around children a lot. Now, your sixth house is about you serving but on a daily life. So your work, your health, service of self-improvement a little bit differently. So it'll be about you enjoying your work, being more productive, being more efficient, getting along with your coworkers, maybe moving into a new office, maybe having a little bit more freedom in your job. It's about your day-to-day affairs, about things becoming a little more easy on the day-to-day side. It's also a great time for you to deal with your health issues, to, eat right, all of that stuff. But overall, Jupiter in Capricorn is going to support any type of lifestyle change, regardless of where it is transiting in your chart. Just, keep that in mind. Now, in your 7th house, that's about marriage and partnerships, and it's about awareness of others. So if it's transiting in your 7th house, then it's going to be about you partnering in love and business, more relational, getting a business partner, maybe changing business partners. But it's going to be about you doing the work. And this just popped in for my guides. If people are going, like through a divorce, this is going to be the time, if it's transiting your 7th house, to go to therapy and work on it, if that's what you choose to do, to invest in therapy, invest in communicating more with people. Now, for your 8th house, that is about shared resources, about death, letting go, sex, other people's money, sharing, all of that. So if it's transiting your 8th house, you're going to have to get more comfortable with power and having control over your life. And it's going to be really important for you to deal with the deep held issues, the stuff that you've been hiding from, the stuff that's in the dark, that shadow self, if it's transiting your 8th house. And it's also a good time for you to gain more wealth, to have more abundance, but only after you clear up all of that stuff. And that also involves a lot of sexual expansiveness, sexual exploration in your 8th house. So keep that in mind as well. Now, for your 9th house, that is about expanded horizons, philosophy, publishing, religion, travel, the law, education. And so if it's transiting your 9th house, then it's, the 9th house, Jupiter naturally rules that. So it's going to be home for Jupiter. And so what will happen is that you can do a lot of things with it. Just a lot of things are going to go smoother for you on the law side, on the legal side. You're going to have a lot more opportunities that are going to be presented to you. You're going to feel a lot more optimistic and not so heavy about things that are happening in your life if it, goes through your 9th house. Now, your 10th house is about achievement, about career, about status, a reputation, taking back your power. And so if it's going to transit your 10th house, that means it's going to be good for your career. However you want to be recognized for social success in your career, having success as climbing the ladders of success, all of that stuff. It's going to be about you finally achieving goals that you've been working towards. So it's sort of like you get the double entendre of Jupiter in the 10th house plus it being in Capricorn. So it's going to support your goals, your dreams, and you working your way up the ladder corporately, socially, whatever. It's about having big goals that are more daring, where everything is possible for you. Now, if it transits your 11th house, that's about friends, groups, associations, aspirations. So it's about you filling your social calendar, meeting new people, but doing it the right way. Meeting new people, joining clubs, joining organizations, etc. Now, if it's going to transit your 12th house, I'm just letting you know right now that it's going to be about you working on yourself. The 12th house is about dreams, solitude, transcendence. It can be a little bit of self-sabotage in there as well, but it's about your spiritual life. So it's about you possibly doing the work on a more deeper level, about figuring out your spiritual ties, figuring out your spiritual practices, what you believe in, what you don't believe in. Finally getting those pieces of the inner world of you together. And that's going to be really important to my people who are having Jupiter in Capricorn transit their 12th house. I want to send a word of caution to you that it's going to be a very uncomfortable year for you. You're going to question a lot of stuff. You're going to question a lot the way you've done things, the way you're doing stuff, but you cannot take a shortcut. That is going to be the big thing. You're not going to be able to take shortcuts. You're not going to be able to, continue to shut down yourself or hide from yourself. You can't do that now. So that is Jupiter in Capricorn for 2020. It's going to be an amazing, amazing year. And like I said before, make sure that you're choosing something, you're getting clear, and that you're willing to do the work, that you're willing to, make a actionable plan to see your goals happen. Because the work that you put in, the seeds that you plant next year, they're going to sprout a lot faster after this. They're going to just really give you what you desire and what you want. So I hope you enjoyed this, everyone. If you have any questions, you can always DM me or email me, and all of that good stuff. And thank you so much for listening again. I'll be back next week with another podcast. So I'm super excited for all of you for Jupiter and Capricorn. Like I said, remember, if you're willing to do the work, you're going to get rewarded. So it's going to be a really great year. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Is My Aura on Straight? Make sure you follow me on Instagram at AC Brown, and also check out my website for products and services at www.acbrown.com. And until we meet again, make sure you have a great week filled with good vibes and good energy.